What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 17:13 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. So what you're looking at here is video footage coming out of Belarus showing the first Belarusian Oreshnik launcher. So the Belarusians are building the launchers that they need for the Oreshnik missile, which is a two-stage solid-fueled intermediate range ballistic missile that has a range of several thousand miles. It's basically like a smaller ICBM. This is what Russia used to strike Ukraine last fall. So this is very, very concerning. This gives Belarus the capability to launch nukes at European countries that cannot be intercepted. So major provocation here. This is almost like the Cuban Missile Crisis of our time. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention my Patreon account. For just $3 a month, you can get access to all of my breaking news first before I post them to YouTube or anywhere else, and you can watch them ad-free, absolutely zero ads. Okay, just $3 a month, no advertisements, and you get priority access to my breaking news alerts, and that's on Patreon. The link is in the description below this video, and that's patreon.com/NYPrepper, patreon.com/NYPrepper, just $3 a month, no ads, and priority access to my video updates. And also, Poland has deployed 11,000 additional troops to the border of Russia and Belarus, so things are really escalating here in Eastern Europe. And right now, we have a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane up in the air off the coast of Virginia Beach, and it looks like it's getting ready to communicate with our nuclear-armed submarines, so we should start to see a lot of emergency action messages soon, and this could mean that something big is about to happen. And for most of the day today, at least half to two-thirds of Ukraine has been under an air raid alert. So we have to keep an eye on Ukraine, and I will be monitoring the situation tonight in the live stream, and I will go live if necessary. And last night we had some very interesting information come out of Iran. Iran possibly tested a nuclear weapon in central Iran. What you're looking at here is the location of a 5.0 magnitude earthquake in Iran, approximately 20 miles from the famous Natanz nuclear site. And what's interesting about this earthquake is not just how close it is to the Natanz site, but also that it was only 6 miles deep, okay, and just 20 miles from Natanz. Now, in addition to that, the seismographs are nearly identical to the 2017 North Korean nuclear test. So what you're looking at here is the seismograph from the 2016 North Korean nuclear test, and you can see these two big spikes here, and then there's like no aftershocks afterwards. And then here we have the Iranian nuclear test yesterday, and you can see basically the same thing. There's a little spike here initially, which would be the primary charge or the priming charge, and then you have the main explosion right here, okay, and then no aftershocks afterwards. Typically earthquakes, especially 5.0 magnitude earthquakes that are natural, have some kind of aftershocks, okay? So this is very, very concerning. And the timing is interesting because remember the 2-month deadline to Iran just a couple of days ago, and they've been striking the Houthis like crazy. So Iran is definitely feeling insecure about their nuclear weapons, and they want to get a nuclear weapon as soon as possible before the U.S. and Israel can strike them. And Russia launched 179 drones at Ukraine last night. Also, Ukraine launched an unknown number of drones at Russia in response. So 179 drones, absolutely insane. And we're hearing that 2 people were killed in one of these drone attacks on the city of Zaporizhia. A 14-year-old girl and her father were killed, and a 9-month-old baby was injured. And Lithuania is following in Poland's footsteps, and they plan to place anti-personnel and anti-tank mines along their border with Russia and Belarus. Okay, so Poland started mining their border with Russia and Belarus, and they're building the largest defense line in Europe since World War II, okay, with multiple layers of anti-tank mines, anti-personnel mines, anti-tank trenches, anti-tank obstacles, fortified bunkers for weapon storage and for civilians to hide in during air raids, and also for infantry forces, lookout towers. So Poland is preparing for a worst-case scenario. And the U.S. will deploy up to 3 aircraft carriers by this spring, just in time for Trump's 2-month deadline to expire on Iran. The U.S. is deploying a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East right now. U.S. Defense Secretary ordered the USS Carl Vinson to move from the Pacific Ocean to the Middle East, where it will join the USS Harry Truman and the USS Gerald R. Ford and the Carrier Strike Group 12 are expected to finish their composite training unit exercise off the coast of Virginia in the next month for their scheduled deployment this year to the U.S. Fifth Fleet. And this means that by the time the U.S. president's 2-month deadline on Iran ends, there could be as many as 3 aircraft carriers in the Middle East. And the Pentagon is completing arrangements to send more troops and air defense systems to the Middle East, according to officials. So more troops and more air defenses probably going to Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other allied nations. And what you're looking at here is a before and after of the Engels bomber base in Russia. This is one of Russia's 4 nuclear bomber bases. And you can see here, after Ukraine struck the base with drones earlier in the week, multiple structures, I counted as many as 10 structures, were destroyed. Okay, so here's before, and then you can see after. Absolutely insane. So massive strike on the Engels Air Base, and that is part of Russia's nuclear triad, and according to the Russian nuclear weapons doctrine, that could justify Russia using nuclear weapons against Ukraine. And we're hearing that 4 Chinese vessels intruded into Japan's territorial waters near the Senkaku Islands, approaching a Japanese fishing vessel. Wow. And 47 Chinese warplanes and 7 Chinese warships were operating around Taiwan yesterday. 41 out of the 47 warplanes crossed the median line in the Taiwan Strait, and there were 16 sorties of Chinese bombers and 29 sorties of Chinese fighter jets. Wow. And the Russian drone strike on Chernobyl's new safe confinement has significantly damaged its structure, leaving it unable to function as designed. 50% of the northern roof, as well as the southern roof and sidewalls, were damaged by the resulting fire. Critical components, including the crane system, were also seriously affected. The damage has allowed both snow and water to seep under the arch, creating a potential corrosion threat. As a result, the new safe confinement no longer meets its original design and licensing requirements. Nuclear energy expert Jean van Putte warns that due to high radiation levels above the sarcophagus, repairs may require moving the entire new safe confinement back to its original assembly site, an operation that would be extremely costly. The future of the project is now uncertain at best, okay? So this is absolutely catastrophic, okay? This new confinement dome that they built for the Chernobyl reactor now has to be basically moved back to its assembly location and then basically completely overhauled and rebuilt, which is going to cost trillions. Okay, and that's all because of one Russian drone. Absolutely insane. And London's Heathrow Airport is still closed today after a suspicious fire broke out at a substation earlier in the week. British authorities are investigating it as a sabotage incident. And guys, I would not be surprised if this was the work of Russian sleeper agents, because if you remember, about 2 weeks ago, there was this strange collision in the North Sea where a Russian boat collided with a U.S. tanker ship, a U.S. Navy tanker ship. So these are ships that carry fuel. And it was sitting in the North Sea, and then suddenly this Russian ship collided with it. Yeah, that's not a coincidence, okay? Same thing with this fire at Heathrow Airport. And there were more U.S. airstrikes on the Houthis yesterday and today. We're hearing that as many as 3 missiles targeted the Hodeidah airport in western Yemen today. And the Houthis claim to have struck Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv with a Palestine II hypersonic missile and targeting several warships belonging to the Harry Truman Carrier Strike Group in the Red Sea using multiple drones. And the Houthis threatened to target Ben Gurion International Airport in Israel along with airlines. They warn that the Ben Gurion International Airport in central Israel is unsafe for travel and will remain a target until the aggression against Gaza ceases. The Houthis released a statement saying, after the success of our Yemeni armed forces in cutting off Israeli shipping in the Red Sea, a blockade is imposed on Ben Gurion Airport in occupied Palestine. That's what they call Israel. A warning is issued to all airline companies to avoid Ben Gurion Airport for everyone's safety. Notable companies include Lufthansa, Turkish Airlines, Air France, British Airways, United Airlines, and EasyJet, and other airlines flying to occupied Palestine that are not mentioned. Please take the decision of the Yemeni armed forces seriously, as Ben Gurion Airport is no longer safe until the aggression on Gaza stops. Wow, guys. So the Houthis are now going to start targeting the Ben Gurion Airport. Absolutely insane. And the Israeli Defense Minister of Israel threatened to strike Beirut in response to 5 rocket attacks on northern Israel last night, according to Israeli News 12. And this morning, Israel launched massive retaliatory strikes on southern Lebanon. And yesterday, the Israeli Air Force launched massive airstrikes against the Syrian airbase of Palmyra in the Homs Governorate. Apparently, weapons storage sites of the former Assad regime were targeted. And Europe's first orbital rocket is set to launch from Norwegian soil on Monday. So this is going to be a rocket capable of space travel. And the UK will host 3 more days of military planning sessions next week to prepare high-level plans on mobilizing a European-led coalition of the willing in the event of a ceasefire in Ukraine. And Elon Musk's social media platform X started to suspend the accounts of Turkish protesters taking part in anti-Erdogan, anti-government protests. Wow. That is absolutely insane. So Elon Musk is basically protecting Erdogan. Very interesting. And Turkish riot police have started to conduct mass arrests due to the anti-Erdogan protests. And finally, Pope Francis will be discharged from the hospital after more than 5 weeks, during which he battled bilateral pneumonia. His doctors said he has plans to greet a crowd from his hospital window in his first public appearance since he was admitted. And here we have the flight path of Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu flying from North Korea back to Russia after his visit to North Korea. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news. Follow my Telegram X, and Rumble accounts. The links are in the description below this video. Also, check out my Patreon. It's only $3 a month, and you can watch all of my videos ad-free. And also, download my free app from the Google Play Store. It's 100% free, and it allows me to send out notifications to you guys when I post these updates and when I go live and when there's breaking news. So until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by NYPrepper Supply. Guys, NYPrepper Supply is doing a massive sale on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. They're selling their 3-month emergency food supply for just $600, so that's $100 off the normal price. And this is 3 months of food at 2,000 calories per day, has a shelf life of up to 25 years, and all of this is packed into 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. And they're also offering a disaster replacement warranty, so if your food supply gets destroyed by a natural disaster, they'll replace it for you with no charge. And they also will provide you with free survival books and information, including a natural disaster field guide, a survival Bible digital copy. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $100 off the NYPrepper Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video.